There's some stories that just don't make sense at first glance, and Jack Ma's is definitely one of them. He's a man whose story is just packed with failure, but who somehow managed to build one of the biggest companies on the planet. So today, we're going to break down his blueprint for success, uncovering the 7 rules that helped him defy failure, and we'll even look at the science that proves they actually work.
I mean, really try to picture this. A guy who gets rejected from pretty much everything. He fails his college entrance exams multiple times. He applies for job after job and just keeps hearing no. He even applied to KFC, right? And get this, out of 24 people who applied, he was the only one they didn't hire. How on earth does that person go on to build a global empire?
So on one hand, you've got this mountain of what anyone would call failure. And on the other, well, he becomes the guy who literally changes the way we shop online. It's the same person. So what was the secret sauce? It all started with his mindset.
And that all starts right here in section 1, building an unshakable mindset. Because before you can do anything, you have to get your head right.
All right, so here it is, rule number 1, and it is a game changer. He says failing isn't the opposite of success. It's just the warm-up, it's the preparation, it's not the end of the road, it's the training you need to actually get there.
And the crazy part? This isn't just some motivational poster quote. There's real science behind this. Dr. Carol Dweck at Stanford University calls it the growth mindset. It's this core belief that your abilities aren't set in stone. Every failure isn't a final judgment. It's just feedback. It's data. Jack Ma treated every single rejection as a lesson, which made him incredibly resilient.
Okay, but learning from your mistakes is one thing. You still need the gas in the tank to keep moving forward, right? And for Jack Ma, that fuel was hope. Hope is what keeps you going when everything and everyone is telling you to just give up. It's the engine of persistence.
I mean, just look at this number, 10. He was rejected by Harvard 10 times. Seriously, who does that? Most of us would be done after the second no, maybe the third if we're feeling really brave. But that relentless hope, it just kept him in the game.
And again, this isn't just some fuzzy, feel-good idea. Hope is a weapon. Research out of Yale actually shows it gives you a massive strategic advantage. Hopeful people aren't just happier, they're more than 30% more productive and have 40% less stress. Hope isn't just wishing, it's a tool for high performance. So this whole mindset of learning from failure leads to a really clever shortcut. Yeah, you're going to make your own mistakes, that's a given. But if you want to get ahead fast, learn from the mistakes other people have already made and paid for.
And we can actually see this happening inside our own brains. Neuroscience shows that when you mess up, your brain sends out this little flare, this uh-oh signal. And that signal is basically your brain screaming, hey, pay attention, this is where we get better. So mistakes are literally your brain's own personal upgrade system.
So you've got this bulletproof mindset. Fantastic. But how do you actually do anything with it? Well, that brings us to section 2, the strategy for action. I love this rule because it's so incredibly down to earth. The guy had this unbelievably huge dream to build an e-commerce platform for all of China. But he didn't start in a skyscraper. He started with 17 of his friends all crammed into his tiny apartment. The dream was massive, but the first step was tiny.
And there's actually a powerful psychological concept for this. It's called the Kaizen effect. It's all about small, tiny, consistent steps that add up over time. They compound, kind of like interest in a bank account, until you have this massive result. You don't need a giant leap. You just need to take that first small step.
And that ties into the next piece of his strategy. You have to remember, back when he was getting started, most people in China thought he was crazy. The internet, buying stuff online, it sounded like science fiction. But Mao, he was already living in the future. He was preparing for an opportunity that nobody else could even see yet.
You see, this is the preparedness theory in real life. It teaches us that success isn't really about getting lucky. It's about being ready for the luck when it shows up. When the internet finally exploded in China, Jack Ma wasn't lucky. He was simply the most prepared man in the country.
All right, so you've got the mind right, you've got the plan of attack, but there's one more piece, and it might be the most important one of all. That's section 3, the power of people.
Now this rule, this one turns everything we think we know about business completely upside down. He said, customers first, employees second, and the people with the money, the shareholders, they're third. That is the exact opposite of how most big companies think.
And you guessed it, this isn't just some nice charitable idea. It's a killer business model. Look at this data from Harvard. Companies that put their people first have a 60% higher chance of survival. By taking care of his customers and his team, he built an unstoppable company. And that brings us to the final rule, the one that ties it all together. It completely redefines what it even means to be rich. He says it's not about how much you have, it's about how much you give. The true measure of wealth is the value you create for other people.
And wouldn't you know it, there's a biological reason this works. Scientists call it the helper's high. When you do something good for someone else, your brain literally gives you a hit of feel-good chemicals like dopamine and oxytocin. It's like a built-in reward system that makes you happier, healthier, and more motivated. Okay, mindset, strategy, people. We've covered the 3 pillars. Now in our final section, let's talk about what this all means for you. This is your opportunity to seize.
So when you put it all together, what do you get? It's a total rewiring of how we think about success. Failure isn't a dead end, it's just getting you ready for the real thing. Starting small isn't a sign of weakness, it's actually the smartest way to start. And hope. Hope is never a waste of time. It's the fuel that gets you there.
Because success, it isn't some lightning strike. It's not a lottery ticket. It's built from the rubble of 1,000 tiny failures. It's paid for with endless hard work and grit. And it all leads to that one moment, that one single opportunity you've been preparing for your whole life.
So, the blueprint is laid out. The lessons are right in front of you. And that opportunity, it's out there. It might even be knocking on your door right now. So there's really only one thing left to ask. Are you ready?